All right, hello Sooner Nation. Now we probably won't get as many views for this post-game pod, but I'll take the outcome. I mean, a dominant performance at South
Despite
Carolina.
our dominant podcast, we will definitely take the Sooners winning over our 1,500 views from our Texas post-game pod.
Now we start getting close to 500 subscribers. If we get 500 subscribers, we can start getting paid for this stuff. So now, if I start getting close to that, I will be hoping for OU losses if that's what helps.
Inching toward monetization, folks. Inching toward monetization.
I'm sorry, I'm broke. Okay.
Yeah. Jeremy's got 3 kids, guys. I've just got 1. That's the reason Goss gets to go on location things, and Jeremy does not. So there you go.
I will tell you a funny thing before we get going. Lindsay goes, "Where's Steve at?" And I said, "He's in Boston seeing his nephew." Man, he gets to take a lot of trips. I said, "Honey, they have 1 kid." I go, if I had 1 kid, I'd be all over the world. I can promise you. But it's her decision for 3. And she goes, it wasn't my decision. I'm like, it's God's decision. All right.
And
he came with a vengeance.
Things you might not, maybe, a lot of people, as the great philosopher Jim Traber says, shaping the minds of America's youth. It does take 2 people to have a children there, Jeremy. So, so that's on both you guys.
That's God. All right.
Yeah. But, good weekend in South Carolina, right? I mean, I was telling Jeremy when the game started, as you guys know, I'm the sunshine pumper. I'm the Kool-Aid drinker. I'm all those things. And I was just absolutely sick and tired, not just of our friends group, but like Gabe and Teddy and everybody else who just wanted to seem like it was time to just cancel football season for absolutely forever. And when we marched down the field running the football and scored a touchdown on that first drive, I gave a giant fist pump and said, "Suck it, everyone," because that's really how I felt. And I know that's not real mature of me, but at the same time, it was just exciting to see us do the things that I know we were capable of. And whatever hotel breakfast the offensive line had that day, let's see if we can get that in OKC this coming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before we got on here, I said, we can do what we want to do on offense, what Arbuckle wants to do on offense. It's like I think I said in our friend group, I said, I think it's not a big, because he was somebody's talking about Arbuckle just not being impressed with him. I don't think it's a big enough sample size, and we kept the whole offensive staff that sucked last year. So, I don't know. I just feel like Arbuckle has been waiting to have this type of offense so he can show what and that's really
this is something I think Jeremy and I are probably on different sides on this deal here, but for the Bead and Bow, it kind of seems like there's a game, and it happens later in the season than it probably should, but there does seem like there's a game where the line kind of coalesces, and then we're better going forward. If you want to go back to like Lincoln's first year, or you want to go back other years, it's kind of what seems to happen with our offensive line. And, we can talk about, I think Blaylock did a great job. That Robinson's somebody, if you follow the pod, I haven't been the biggest fan of, but I thought Robinson did a really good job. It sounds silly, but of falling forward. And Robinson's a big guy. And the difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 6 is just huge. I mean, it's a totally different thing. And so seeing that, I just thought was a really, really big thing. And props to Bead and Bow, props to DeMarco, 2 guys we've obviously been critical of, especially DeMarco. And, something that I found interesting too, it seemed like there's a lot more Caden Helms at tight end this week. Yeah. Did you kind of notice that too, Jeremy? Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, I'm being a bad podcast host here. I haven't looked at the snap count, but it seemed like there was a lot more Helms than Canick this week. And I think that probably has something to do with the blocking as well.
Well, did you notice too how much spread we ran? Mm-hmm. What happens when you spread your receivers out?
Yeah, everyone's not all jammed up.
Yeah, and so they literally, I I could tell they were doing those little screens, and South Carolina just kept trying to jump them. Like I said, later on in the game, we're going to hit a big one because we're going to pump fake that little screen. Somebody's going to go down to the side, and we're going to hit him, and that's what they did with Satanga. One thing I really liked, too, was they started implementing Giovanni Gibson into the game plan a little bit more.
Yeah.
Getting him some touches. I really like that because getting him some screens, just getting the football in his hands. Just a lot of good things that we can take and grow on because, guys, I don't care how bad South Carolina is. If we learned anything from this weekend is that every game, every week going forward is a test. I don't care what the record is. I mean, look at Texas. Obviously, we were their Super Bowl. I mean, you watch them play,
Yeah.
I mean, against Kentucky. I mean, all these teams, look how Miami played. Miami and Louisville, I look like neither one of them wanted to win that game Friday night. So it's like anytime that is to me, that win against South Carolina at South Carolina is bigger than the Michigan win, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
And,
I mean, obviously, number one, it's an SEC win. Okay. Number two, we haven't won many games away from Norman. We truthfully haven't. And I mean, they were having a conversation on one of the pods. I think it was the post-game pod from the Sooner Scoop guys. And, like, is this the biggest road win in Brent's history? And I mean, it's probably either this last year at Auburn or the Nebraska game, his first year when we thought we were just going to go 14-0 and national champions back then. But, that being said, this is the big win. And we did it, I mean, without relative fanfare. I mean, other than the officials deciding that South Carolina needed to score there at the end of the second quarter, I mean, let's go ahead and pick some nits right here, Jeremy. I mean, to me, the only negatives I saw where we had too many penalties, our punt and punt coverage definitely lacked some things. And I don't know. I just don't think RSJ has been great the last couple of weeks. I just don't. And that kind of dovetails into, I just don't think maybe as great as our defense is, I don't really think our secondary has tackled quite as well as they had before that. And then the last nit to pick is I don't think Mateer's healthy enough or was healthy enough this week to throw the ball down the field. And I do think we will need some of that coming up next week. What nits do you have to pick, Jeremy? Are they the same ones or?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, especially on the defensive side. I'm with you with Jennings, but the thing with Jennings is that dude has guys behind him that are ready to play. The penalty that they were going to throw on Powers, if that would have held up, I'd have been like, okay, you can't tackle people. There is no more textbook tackle than what Reggie Powers
we put that on the friends group chat of like, if this holds, I mean, what is a tackle?
What's fun when your announcers just stop talking, you know how bad of a call it was.
Yes. These were announcers who'd obviously never watched an OU game before because they kept expecting Jaden Ott to come in there. And PJ's name is rough to say, but they weren't even close. They were just like, PJ Abercrombie and Fitch with the tackle.
Ernie Abercrombie with the to go back in basketball time. But,
yes, exactly. But
one thing too I liked about our defense is Sellers is a very difficult quarterback to tackle.
Dude, he's a unit to bring down.
He's huge, and I think I'm safe to say now that Taylor Wyme is becoming a dude. I mean, that guy is a football player.
We're having the conversation about Taylor Wyme this week that we had about David Stone a couple of weeks ago. It's like, is this guy our best player on defense? Is
somebody new every week? And I think
that's a great thing to say.
Yeah, and I think to me, this defense, I know we've not tackled good the last couple of weeks, but that said, I feel pretty safe to say I think it's the best defense, not only in the SEC, but in college football. Just how they swarm the ball, how they attack. You want to hammer Brand about certain things of his coaching tenure at OU. One thing you can't hammer him about is that this is a defense he promised us when he was hired.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay.
you watch them fly around. That's what we've always wanted. So,
well, I think we probably need to just take I'm going to clap like Kirby does here.
I was clapping.
Yeah, I'll take one of these. But I do think it's probably good to take this a little bit of an aside to address some of the things that are going on out there. You look at where Florida is. They just fired Billy Napier. Okay. Freeze is not going to last at Auburn. And once again, not to toot our own horns, but Jackson was not the answer. It wasn't just us. Okay. And you look at all these different openings that are out there and are going to be out there. And
I mean, Mike Norvell.
Yeah, Mike Norvell.
I mean,
okay,
we're working on
Brent
this.
has delivered what we hired Brent to do. He said he wanted to get a dominant, game-changing, active defense. It is. It's been really good. We're 6. I mean, Lord knows I expect to win more games, but we're bowl eligible. Okay. Won as many games in the conference as we did last year already. We've won as many games overall as we did last year already. And we're not even to Halloween yet. So we've got all these things out in front of us. It takes some time. It takes some patience. Once again, we thought we were the worst offense under the sun against Texas, and bad things happened. But John Mateer had thumb surgery less than, 2 weeks before that. Okay. And our offense is predicated on him, and he's still not back where he needs to be, but we're getting there. And continue to try to find joy, Sooner fans. Try to rally around this team and understand it's not easy to be 6-1. Did watching the Texas game yesterday make me mad we weren't 7-0? Because I'm like, dear God, Arch getting complete those. I mean, Arch was awful yesterday. He was arching on. I mean, it was bad. Okay. And he wasn't bad against us. I sat there and I had good seats to watch it. He was good. I mean, he was a great game manager that game. And
he made some pro throws. I mean, he made some throws that
he did.
You make it in it. You see in NFL, so that's what was so frustrating.
But even with all that being said, when we do what we did yesterday, we didn't turn the ball over. We ran the football, and we let our defense go to work. Because as great as that third quarter was, we went 3 and out, I think, the first time we got it, right? Or did we maybe got one first down, but we didn't score the first time we got the ball. We didn't. But we let it go back to the defense again, get better field position again. Then we went down and kicked a field goal. Then we have everyone in the stadium knew they were faking the punt. Taylor Wine definitely knew he was open in the left flank, and he caught it and intercepted it. And then we go down and score a touchdown, and the game's over. But I say all this to say that I believe in Brent Venables. I want this to work with Brent Venables. We all need to get behind Brent Venables, and let's be a great crowd on Saturday and be happy that Brent Venables isn't taking shirtless hot yoga pictures before the game. Okay. I mean, come on, guys. We can't lose to freaking Lane on Saturday. Okay. He's going to spend all week talking about how he's either going or not going to Florida and all that stuff. Lane's an amazing internet troll. But this is a freaking football team, and we're going to be ready to beat them on Saturday.
Yeah. One thing, too, I'll mention when talking about, I think that's what, I don't want to say I get joy in somebody losing a job, but what I got joy on is that it's hard to keep a job in college football with a power, like a big blue blood. I mean, Florida literally won, but they were so gung-ho about getting Napier out of there because you know why? They were worried he was going to get on a run. And he wins a couple, 2 or 3 in a row, and he's beat Texas. They're like, crap, we can't fire him now. But look at Penn State with Franklin. I mean, this team got votes to be the number 1 team in the nation. And now they are dumpster fire, and they fired their coach. It just shows you how quick in college football it can change. So any win, I really don't care how bad a team is. Any conference win on the road is huge. I think, too, some guy said on Twitter, I thought this was pretty funny. He goes, I get a lot of joy at watching what Brent Venables and Marcus Freeman are doing at their schools, and Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly have what they're doing right now at their schools. So it just shows you, like, you can make, turn things around, but it changes week to week. So, I mean, take joy when you get joy. Gosh, you're muted. You're muted.
And I'm back.
I'm saying, hey, it looked like you had some good stuff you were talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's using
you
his
just
hands.
you just look at the people that Florida had. Look at what Florida did. Okay, Florida fired Dan Mullen to bring in Billy Napier. Okay, yeah. Dan Mullen won 70% of his games while coaching in the SEC. You think Florida wouldn't sign themselves back up for that? Yeah, but you guarantee you they would. And, be careful what you wish for, or you get in that cycle of just dumping through people. And, we were so lucky to have Bob for so long. And hopefully, Brent gets this going the direction we go, and this does work out. But going back to the game Saturday, I mean, it's just to the point, Jeremy, I'm kind of surprised when the other team gets a first down or moves the ball at all, and that's just a fun
3 yards on that run. That's all right.
I mean, but it goes back to it's just the same thing as when we were rolling offensively. I didn't feel like any third down was ungettable. This 3rd and 18, I didn't care. We could go get it, and that's kind of with this group. I mean, it literally took them. Was that on 4th down, even where the running back just absolutely turns Kip Lewis around on the hold? The left tackle false starts over there trying to contain R. Mason and holds him as well for them to score a touchdown against us. I mean, it's different. It takes something to get used to, but it's the same kind of thing of even if we give up a big play, like we gave up the big run, and it kind of seems like that's this defense's Achilles heel, is one kind of big run or big pass play. It kind of averages out better the team, maybe 1.5, that sort of thing. But I didn't have any doubt, much stupidly, I felt like South Carolina didn't kick the field goal. But I thought, okay, we're going to hold them to a field goal, in which they went for it on 4th down. But it's great to have something to build on, and our defense is something to build on.
Absolutely. I said that when we're going to halftime. I said, look how hard it is for them to get an inch against us. Everything has to be perfect on their side of the ball for them to get in. I mean, hell, penalties are how they got them down the field the first time. Yeah. And so, not to mention, when they scored that touchdown, it was such a obvious false start that our defense froze. I don't know if you watched the secondary, but they just kind of stopped. I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, because they're watching the same thing where everybody else is besides the ref. So, I mean, honestly, if they make that call, they don't score a touchdown because our defense, I mean, that was not a very good throw. It's just we kind of stopped.
Yeah, so I agree 100%. Jeremy and I both like to brag on our kiddos. I was really proud of Allie as a dad, as an OU fan. When that play happened, Allie goes, "Golly, Dad, this is as bad as that last OSU game." And I was like, "I love you, kid. Good job. I'm glad you're paying attention." But props.
Yeah, there's no prouder moment as when your kids can make references like that. If my kid ever says anything about Top Dog racking himself, I'll probably
then we know.
I will bawl uncontrollably.
You're my favorite child. I don't care about the
other. Yeah, you can never do no wrong. I'm just telling you. But yeah, there's just too many. I watched that defense, and there's been many times I feel like with Bob teams, we say, "Oh, this is a really good defense." Is it as good as the early 2000s? They're like, "Well, maybe they're not that good." this is probably, in my opinion, the closest thing to that. Just the way they fly around, and I mean, it is suffocating. It's swarming, and that's what's so
here's the
frustrating about
deal:
the
we
Texas
had
loss.
6 sacks, and if Sellers isn't such the Adonis that he is, we probably have 11. You know, I mean, because that last drive when our starters were still in there, that they just got a couple of miracle plays on. I mean, it's just like we were trying to chop him down. It was, I mean, it was like Gulliver, you know. It was a wild, wild thing. But you know, all this saying, do I think South Carolina is a good football team? No, I don't. But I think they're a decent, mediocre team with a dude athlete at quarterback. I think Nick Harbor is really, really good. I wish we could have brought him back at receiver. But speaking of big receivers, Jeremy, I think Giovanni Gibson's – don't be surprised if he doesn't have a big game this coming week.
It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like
I thought Satanga was our best receiver, but man, there were some intriguing things. There were some intriguing things there with Giovanni Gibson.
And not to mention, keep an eye on Deion Burks. You know, they keep trying to do these, like, Deion, I feel the same way with Deion Burks. Like, there's going to be a game where you're just like, oh, yeah, we have Deion Burks. I forgot about that guy. It's just like, I think he is a forgotten man just because of how Satanga's kind of stepped up. And there's a reason for that. They were a lot of the defense is shifting towards Burks' side.
Right.
But also, too, if you get Giovanni Gibson involved, then all of a sudden that opens up Burke. So, I mean, just too many weapons is never a problem, I can promise you. So, and you can tell they're inching Giovanni Gibson into making him a bigger role into the offense. So I agree with you 100%. I think we are getting very, very close to that. Oh, my God, Giovanni Gibson is who we thought he was. So.
And, you know, I did find the snap counts things, just kind of going back to that. At tight end, Kanik had 33 snaps, Helms had 32, and Carson Kent was down to 6. Will Huggins was down to 4. So I do think that was some of the improvement. You're looking at a 50-50 split between those guys. So I do think that was interesting. And
good for Caden Helms. Man,
yeah.
The kid's been through hell and back at OU, stuck with it, and I like seeing kids that get rewarded for, you know, just sticking with it.
I mean, like, and you know, if they had I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say something about our tight ends coach, but I'm not. It's positive day. So we're just not going to mention
hammering on Bauer Sharp again. I'm like,
no,
do that anymore.
We're not going there anymore. We don't have to talk about Bauer Sharp or Jackson Arnold or any of those things anymore. So that's definitely a good thing. I mean, was there anyone? And I know a lot of us, if you're listening to this pod, you probably sicko watched that Missouri Auburn game, but was there a more fitting ending to that than watching watching Jackson get sacked to end it? I mean, that was just the
almost as good as watching Eli Drinkwitz go and clap like they made that field goal.
Yes.
They go to shake his hand, and they're like,
"Did you see that dork standing on top of like the stadium like pillars, screaming after they won that game?" I mean, good grief, what a dork! Hope anyway, whatever. But
I really hope he gets Lou Gehrig's disease. That's what you're gonna say. I'm like, whoa, man, come on, easy. I kind of agree with you, but don't say stuff like that.
You know, another thing I would be remiss not to hit on this game is like, and this is going to come in really big soon because we've got a tough stretch of games ahead of us. We all know that, but having a dude at kicker just. Yeah. Especially with our defense. And that's where like our punter having issues is just such a big deal. I mean, that's how we want to play football. The kicking game is part of what we're trying to do. Tate's, you know, just been awesome. One of those, like, you know, it's the great philosopher Garth Brooks says, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. And, you know, he was our second choice. The kicker at Texas was our first choice. And so definitely glad that that's worked out the way it has.
Hey, and when we've had left-footed kickers, it usually works out good for OU football teams. Now, I'm not saying he's the next Tim Duncan, but I'm just saying he looks very Tim Duncan-ish.
Yes.
So but that kick was probably good for another 10, 15 yards.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
no,
he
that thing
nailed
was good
that
from
thing.
68.
I
Yeah,
mean, that
no.
dude nailed that sucker. So, but also too, we're talking about punt coverage. Just flat punts right now, no air under him, and it's like your coverage can't.
Well,
compete with that.
Brent talked about, because remember, this guy didn't win the punting competition initially, right?
Mm-hmm.
He lost, and Brent talked about how inconsistent he was in camp. And unfortunately, we've seen that back again. And so hopefully, because his last couple of punts were just a little bit better, but then we just had some stupid stuff too, like Elijah Thomas, who we all like and have really loved the hustle he's had on special teams. Like, he gets a dumb personal foul penalty. And like, those are just things we've got to eliminate as we go into the teeth of our schedule after this.
Well, I mean, it's a problem when your best punt and maybe your best punt of the season was by your starting quarterback.
Hey, amazing quick kick there from No, that was
Hey,
that was
and
great.
but we're going to talk about Elijah Thomas' butt getting down there and pinning
and
that.
covering it. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then second, that's two safe. If you want to talk about how good a defense is, that's two safeties this season. So
Yeah.
some defenses don't get safeties for 3 years. We've gotten 2 this season. So it just a lot of positives, a lot of things you can take out of this game and grow on. Blaylock, in my opinion, I've been complaining about how he needs to kick it out. What did he do this game? He kicked it out, but also too.
Thanks for listening, Tori. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Now just help us find some sponsorship, for crying out loud. All right. Jesus. No, but really though, we were getting a push up front, and Stewart going out obviously helps. I mean, you're taking NFL.
It does, but he hasn't been great this whole year.
He hasn't.
And
no.
Once again, as I was giving myself flowers for saying that the demise of OU has been greatly exaggerated, it seems like someone all stinking offseason and all stinking summer kept telling you South Carolina wasn't that good. But oh no, they're preseason top whatever, and he's going to win the Heisman, and I'm an idiot. Guess who's not an idiot now? This guy.
Well, we were talking about before the game about Beamer coming. Like, if OU's job came open, I'm like, he needs to get out of South Carolina if he's going to come to Oklahoma, because I'm just telling you, like, if Venables left and we hired Beamer, we love Shane Beamer. I don't think we'd be very happy with it.
No.
I mean,
that was a bad operation. That was a bad operation Saturday. It was. I mean,
it was,
like,
I think kind of lost the team a little bit.
Like,
it looks like
end of clock management there was that was like, you think Brent's got bad clock management in the house? Hold my beer, I got you here, boys. But no, I think that's definitely going to be a deal where if Shane is there at South Carolina next year, he's going to have new coordinators. Because I mean, those Boo Birds were after him pretty quick, pun intended there with Boo Birds, with Sir Big Spur and such. But
and also too, that last play, was it Spears Jennings just laying on the guy, not letting him up?
Yes.
I mean, that's an MVP type play right there. I mean, Beamer can get up. He was pissed off because we were doing that, but I'm like, dude, if you're in the same situation,
you would want the guy to do that too. Yeah. I mean, it's just
that's just a heady move. I'm like, if you're going to be dumb enough to throw across the middle and not get out of bounds, then you got to pay the consequences for it. So I would say the same thing, even if it was OU that had it done to them. So, but just, I mean, the penalty to me is like the penalties were kind of alarming, but also too, there were some stuff there that I didn't.
Right.
And we've gone almost 29 minutes here. I haven't mentioned it. Gentry Williams hurting his shoulder again.
And I mean,
it doesn't sound like it's anything too serious.
But I mean,
he tried to go back in there. So
I'll tell you someone, that I sneakily thought played really well Saturday was I thought Guillory came in and played really well in his absence. And Devon Jordan actually got the most snaps of anybody at corner. Devon Jordan played 41 snaps. Guillory played 34. Eli Bowen played 31. And Jacoby Johnson played 24. And looking at PFF, Eli Bowen was actually our lowest rated of our corners that day. Jacoby Johnson and Cortland Guillory were both in the mid-70s, which is really good. And Devon Jordan was in the mid-60s. we're building depth there, and that's a good thing. And why I certainly hope Gentry's back, whether it's this week or the next week. We take all the good players at corners we can get. I do think we have built depth there. And I'll address this, and I don't have any real inside knowledge here, but Kendall Dolby, I do think is done. I do think he's going to redshirt leave, whatever you want to call it. And it's just a simple brass tacks, guys, of Kendall Daniels was like built to play cheetah, and he's played great. Mm-hmm. And then Reggie Powers hitting people like a stud, and then Cortland Guillory and Devon Jordan stepping up at corner. Where are you going to get Kendall on the field? And if you're Kendall Dolby, you want to play in the NFL, it makes a lot of sense to just be like, look, guys, don't play me. I want to use my red shirt, and I either want to transfer or maybe next year somebody else. Maybe there's spots that are there. I don't like that. I mean, I'm a team first guy, but this is the NIL world. This is the guy who's wanting to play in the NFL like they all are. I'm not mad at Kendall Dolby if that's what it is. No hard feelings, man. Appreciate
it. Why don't you do like Jim Traber and just say that's what happened, and then just say my sources are telling me Dolby's gone. I mean,
well, I kind of have Trabered it. I've gave it up to myself like twice today, so maybe I am.
I'm not going to give it up to myself, but I'm going to give it up to myself. That's how.
Am I right, Al? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, Al? Am I right? Tell me I'm right, Al.
Do you remember 2 years ago when this guy came here? Like, I think we have it documented that I said this. It's just like, good God, dude. All right, like I'm right all the time in my opinion. Okay, I don't come on here and tell you how. I mean, I've predicted like 4 scores this season. I mean, I'm a god in predicting scores. I'm sorry to give it up to myself, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it up to myself. All right.
Yes.
I'm a damn good sunshine pumper. I know that. Nobody pumps the sunshine like me and Steve. I can promise you that much. And we're winning a national championship. I'm calling it right now. I'm done beating around the bush.
Yeah. But, it's just been exciting to see, though, of all this growth coming there. I mean, because used to someone like, if there would have been situations where someone as good as Richard Williams gets hurt in the past at corner, we're screwed. I mean, we're screwed. And we're not screwed. It'd be great to have him back, but if we don't, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, too, you look, we were talking about Elijah Thomas. How do you get more time? You succeed in special teams. Like, you make plays in special teams.
I know a lot of people are like, well, why isn't he getting more snaps and all this stuff? Guys, look at our snap counts. We don't play that many snaps because of the brand of football we're playing, because we're good on defense, okay? We don't play 111 snaps on offense, okay? We're not having 200 snap games. We're having between 55 and 75 snaps on the side of the ball. That doesn't leave a lot. And, that's just kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, that way that we played offensively, that should be how we play games the rest of the season. Like,
and I mean,
20, what was it? What did it end up being? 26-7? Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, what's it? My special number is always 24. Like, we scored 24 points. We win most of the time. So, we weren't trying to go down the field. We're trying to keep the ball, in our hands, run clock, get out of there with the win.
Talking about Elijah Thomas, there's no reason Elijah Thomas, who's really good on special teams last year, did a lot of stuff that didn't necessarily translate or was good in cleanup time. Taylor Wine, okay, and then now look at what this guy's doing now with the big boys, and there's no reason to think Elijah Thomas isn't on that same track. Well, Jeremy and I know we get better traction when we keep this thing under 35, 36 minutes, and we're at 34 minutes right now. So any final thoughts about the South Carolina game before we move on to the Lane train later this week?
Man, no, I just very pleased with our running game. Hopefully it's something we can grow on. Very pleased with Blaylock, too. I thought Blaylock was a lot more patient runner and didn't just run like a bowling ball at the line. So, and Xavier Robinson did what I think, to me, a second running back should do. Just get good yardage, get 3, 4, pop. I don't remember I think our yards per carry was like 7 or 8
Well,
yards.
both
So,
those guys was over 5,
yeah.
and that's
So
just really, really nice
you're
to
gonna win a
see.
lot of football games running the football like that. I can promise you. So
I guess the only other thing I want to throw out there is some people were like, why was Whit Newbar? Well, why did he come in there instead of Hawkins? What was the deal with that? Because we're trying to redshirt Hawkins, okay, guys? That's why he did that. It's not that Hawkins has been demoted to third string or anything like that. It doesn't mean Hawkins is in the portal. It just means that because there was one snap, then that's why he was in there. That's the reason he went back in there at the end again too. So don't freak out there for any Hawkins fans that are out there or people who just want to throw snowballs at Santa Claus. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys,
but again,
we're gonna move on to. Now it gets tough. Rest of
hashtag biggest game of the Britt Venables era, part 8.
But it is. Hey, but I'm just telling you, if we win our home games and our only losses are on the road, I think we're a playoff team. Now 9-3, I think gets us in. I do
too.
It just seems like we're going that way. And also, too, it depends on how you lose. But haven't been impressed with Tennessee. I mean, they have a really good offense, but it's hard to win in Knoxville. That's the only thing I know. So.
Oh yeah, and I think that's going to be a night game. I think they've given a kickoff on that, but anyways, we're going to talk more about that game, but let's talk a whole lot about Ole Miss later on this week. But again, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks to all of our new subscribers. We're glad that you're here. Like Jeremy said, keep subscribing. Email us at soonercast@gmail.com. The march toward monetization continues. Jeremy and I love talking to you guys. Love the comments. Love all that stuff. Have a great week. We'll see you later this week. Boomer
Sooner.